Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the Summit 8 qualifiers. Here for the South American region, my name is Dragon Drop. I'm joined by the one and only Wacky Neff. We're here for two best of threes, Sacred versus Elite Wolves. They've just been renamed here. They've used to run under a lot of X's for some reason. But Elite Wolves is much easier to say. I do not recognize any of their players, but I do recognize a few names here on the Sacred. Of course, you have some SA powerhouses, even from way back when I casted it first. Ben has Masoko, Leosard, Matthew, and the top guy, the captain, is actually King Tekka as far as I am aware. So it's much easier to say again than whatever that name is supposed to be. But yeah, SA Dota. It's been a while for me. And Neff, how about you, man? Have you watched SA Dota recently?
Not much SA Dota. In fact, this is the first cast that I'm doing since the patch hit. So any Dota in general, I've been a little bit behind on. But Sacred, they were formerly DCSA, and I believe DC ended up dropping their roster. They stayed together, named Sacred. So
yeah, for the most part, it's kind of hard to keep track of the happenings of the SA scene. I guess. So I don't think that has changed in the time that I've been away for the most part, really. So, but yeah, I'm excited to see what this region, what their take on the patches in particular. For now, we see a Brewmaster first pick here, the first face pick here after the Winter Wyvern coming out. So Elite Wolves, they're taking some time to rethink about it. They're actually almost out of reserve time already.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird seeing them go through all this reserve time. Maybe some of these teams aren't really used to the new 3-hero banning phase and things like that. Remastered in this patch, I think, very, very strong. Things he's able to do is ultimate dispel magic, how they've improved dispel and whatnot. Super strong, but I think we're going to be seeing a lot of new things tried out in this tournament in particular. This is the first major tournament in Captain's mode. There was the Captain's Draft tournament earlier. What was it called again?
Captain's Draft 4.0 from Moonduck.
Yeah, that's the one. Moonduck.
Yeah. All these qualifiers starting up again. The Summon is a big one. MDL is also going on, and Captain's Draft is still going, I believe, with some other regions as well. So those are some of the big ones. I believe there's a DPL LAN as well, or something like that. At least I saw it on the calendar. But it's starting up again. Plenty of Dota to be watched here throughout wherever you live, essentially. Oh, Dream League is the other big one. There we go.
Yeah, the Lich and Earth Spirit coming out, so I'm pretty excited to see some Earth Spirit gameplay.
Oh yeah, that's one of your favorite heroes. So pretty sure that Sacred can impress here with that. A bit of a combo potential as well with the Winter Wyvern, kind of perhaps setting up for some good Earth Spirit combo. A lot of counterplay potential between these two heroes alone, and something the Elite Wolves have to watch out for. At the same time, they also have some good heroes to stabilize the lanes themselves. Brewmaster can be kind of hard to deal with early on here with just right clicks, and the Lich will even mitigate those even more so. And the Doom, add another one to the party. Is very tanky, very annoying heroes to kill early, and it's going to be hard for the Earthbird, isn't it?
Yeah, we were probably going to see tons of early aggression regardless, just because of the power that the roaming duo of Winter Wyvern and Earth Spirit have. They both have very strong slows, tons of damage, and once they both hit around level 3, both have powerful Nuke, Arctic Burn, and Splinter Blast. Good slows, very long distance, same with Earth Spirit. They can initiate from very far away, so the enemies need to be very careful. But Lich and Doom both sort of offset that. Doom, naturally very tanky hero with Scorched Earth, has lots of strength, and again, Lich with the Frost Armor, the amount of aggression that you can really put onto the enemies is greatly reduced. So Elite Wolves responding to the picks out from Sacred here very well, in my opinion. Brewmaster, again, one of those very tanky heroes, both with Thunderclap, Drunken Haze, and Drunken Brawler. It's very hard to really bring that hero down. He has a lot more EHP than a lot of other heroes in the game, so Elite Wolves, I guess, just trying to tank up against what Sacred is trying to do here, and another very good escaper from what Winter Wyvern and Earth Spirit are able to do, Murano. Now with the triple leap Give me your thoughts on that one.
Osfrog, that's all I say to that one. Osfrog, please. Like, you can leap in for Starfall, and you still have 2 more leaps to get out. I mean, the recharge time can be kind of high. So if you're using it indiscriminately and or just to harass with right clicks as well, or if the action all around the map is very high octane, so you have to keep leaping in and out and whatnot, then you can run into limits of that. But in a normal laning stage scenario, it makes that hero almost impossible to kill.
But there's the 60-second recharge time at level 1, so
yeah.
And then you want to match your Starfall. You want to put 1 level into Arrow. So realistically, you're only really going to get 1 point into Leap. So it's 3 minutes to recharge 3 Leap charges.
Yep.
So it's not the worst thing in the world. Anti-Mage ban coming out doesn't really surprise me. That hero is so powerful in this patch.
5 seconds remaining.
He has been nerfed a little bit, but I'm not sure if that's really changed too much. Just because you still have to blink on Controllable Illusion, except at level 20, and that's when it's more powerful anyway to begin with than it ever would be at level 15, just based on the stats and whatnot of the Anti-Mage and the items that he has. But yeah, they're not wanting to deal with that, since that they have themselves a bit of a combo of their own, Magnus and Juggernaut, so a lot of extra team fight. And some great farming potential here for that melee core with the Empower.
Yeah, I'd say so far I prefer the draft of Elite Wolves because it feels like they've responded to Sacred's lineup so well. But we'll see what these last 2 heroes that come out are. Elite Wolves can still do a number of things. They can put Mirana mid or safe lane. They can run the Doom as a 3 or a 4, right?
Yeah, that could work. Brewmaster is also similarly flexible, isn't he?
So they actually have a lot of options here. Mirana could be both a mid safe lane, and then Lich, of course, always sitting in the hard 5 role. So Sacred looks like they're really trying to figure out how to close up this draft and counter the enemies here. They either want to go for a very strong push in the early game and initiation, or maybe a hero to draw it out. It looks like Elite Wolves expect them to try and close this off fairly early because they wanted to ban out that Quap that again has that huge pickoff potential. Maybe another hero like something that can power up the Earth Spirit and the Winter Wyvern and give them just a little bit more of what they need to be able to take down very tanky heroes like the Doom and the Brewmaster, or be able to blow Mirana up in Earth Spirit initiation with Silent Stun. They're really racking their brains about this one.
Oh, yeah. They need a lot more punch, but the most obvious ones have already been taken out. Like, as you said, the Quap and also the Park would come to mind. So maybe thinking about something like a Tinker now, but it's somewhat vulnerable to the Brewmaster Blink, the Doom as well, and almost randoming. And I wonder if it actually was a random, to be quite honest, because the resolve time is right at 0.
Lina? No, I was just about to say Lina. I'm sure that they picked that here. That was not a random. Come on, Dragon Drop.
Alright.
10 seconds remaining.
Unless they random like the perfect hero for the
perfect
scenario.
hero, exactly.
So well played, Sacred.
That's what we did in that one Battle Cup that I won last season.
Really?
Yeah, we random Phantom Lancer in game 2. We won the game with it because it was turned out to be perfect. Then we picked it again in game 3 and won it.
Looks like we had another random come out. But, that one actually dropped to 59 seconds visually for me, so I'm not sure if that's Finn was a random. I'm going to hope it wasn't, but these teams, they're using every second they have to come up with what they want for their drafts.
Well, I have some extra punching power, that's for sure, but Ben, gotta be careful to not be kited around or just kill his own teammates here with the Winter Wyverns. In that sense, it's not sure if it's the hero that I would have picked in this situation in particular, but hey, we'll see. By the way, can you check Discord real quick?
Oh, yeah, sure.
See? Yeah. While we get into the game. Sacred vs Elite Wolves. Game number 1 of the best of 3. In case you're unfamiliar with the format, it's a very simple double elimination 4-team bracket. Here in phase 1 of all of these summoned qualifiers, the winners, the first and second place, will move on to phase 2. And here for SA, Infamous and SG are already waiting there in that single elimination bracket. And the winner of that bracket will then make it and qualify for the Summit 8. So a long way to go here for these two teams, and also for Mad Kings and Pain, which is our next matchup forward. We'll see. See which one will make it. If anyone makes it at all, this... Oh yeah, the game's paused, of course it is. I had a feeling like we might be spending a little bit too much time on this particular screen, but People's Captain needs a bit of a pause.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Be on the schedule, right?
Pretty much.
I'm sure the people just watching just want to see the game happen now. Waited long enough in the lobby.
Yeah. Well, nothing left to do but wait. Normally get these pauses when the game is actually started already, so you can at least look at the game screen. Sort of this. I mean, to be fair, this is a pretty dope weight screen, but the new draft screen in the first place. But hey, can't look at effigies and shit like that.
Yeah, be able to talk about the effigies and the hats on various heroes, and perhaps see what items everybody has.
Oh yeah, that's one. Sometimes you get the pause before even items are bought. But yeah. You need a sec, they said. But a second in SA Dota, if memory serves correctly, means at least 5 minutes. But again, it's been a while. I've kind of been bouncing between regions every so often. Like, casted some Chinese Dota earlier, and before that, Captain's Draft, SEA, a lot of CAS, and Dota obviously, since that's my time zone, and now SA.
You're a world-class man, world-class cast, for sure.
Oh, someday I'll actually get to go to all these places, cast live. For now, from the comfort of my home.
Home is comfy.
Oh yeah.
All right. Since they have us waiting, let's talk about some of these cosmetics on the heroes now. All right, what do you think of this stuff on the Juggernaut, man? He's got the Arcana on.
Yeah. Ever since they changed it, that's so that you get the red one as well. Makes it much better, I think. Still kind of freaky, but I don't know. With the dragon and everything, kind of is reminiscent of Genji. What are the guys called in Overwatch?
Overwatch? I don't play Overwatch.
Yeah. Basically the same. You're a samurai running around with a sword, and your ultimate is like a dragon. Dragon themed, anyway. Probably where that came from. How do you like the Earthsword, man? I mean, the big old club
I hate it.
with the gold? Okay.
I hate it. Base Earth Spirit is the only Earth Spirit for me. Throws me off. Your roll isn't on point if you've got too much armor on one side. I mean, look at his arm, dude.
Oh yeah. Well, it kind of balances out because he's carrying the club on the other arm, right? Staff or whatever it is. What is that anyway?
I'm not sure. I can't really tell. It looks like a giant mace or something.
Yes. Well, Blaze is reconnected. The admin is reconnected. It will still not ready.
Interesting. Let's talk about the laning phase then. See, Mirana probably gonna head to the mid lane. Sven, safe lane carry. I feel like if Elite Wolves doesn't, if Elite Wolves manages to make it to the late game, they end up winning this fairly easily.
We're having some sound issues. So one thing I can try is maybe switch a server region on Discord. Maybe that's something to do with it. Change it to then Alright, Neff, try again.
How's this, buddy?
That sounds a little bit better for now.
Awesome. Apologies about that.
Yeah, alright.
Take a look at my PC when I have a little bit more time. Actually, I just don't want to leave you hanging right now, especially when the game is paused.
I'm kind of annoyed right now. I mean, a minute or so, just make sure that you have everything in order, that everyone is taking the last sip of Monster Energy TM, which I will do now as well. I can even say that because Summit is sponsored by Monster Energy. In part, of course.
Really? Hashtag please sponsor me.
Pretty much.
But yeah, landing phases.
Is Elite Wolf's gonna die in landing phase at all? First question here. Because even Sven, like, you have the Warcry and whatnot as a defensive utility.
I feel like somebody's gonna die in the top lane to getting roomed on by Winter Wyverners to be hit with Juggernaut spin. They're probably gonna send the Brewmaster up there, and he's just either going to have to accept that he can't be anywhere near creeps, or he's gonna need to play a little bit more aggressive and accept that he is going to die for the sake of getting a couple last hits and getting some EXP, so he doesn't fall too far behind.
Yeah. That's one thing that could happen is with the spin from a Juggernaut. Can overextend here against the slows. That's Sacred actually have in that lane with Spirit as well as the Winter Wyvern. That's something that the Ice Armor from the Lich cannot actually help you against.
Mm-hmm.
Still don't quite know if the Brewmasters will actually end up there. I mean, for all we know, it could be a Roving Marana. I'm not familiar with this team, so I do not know where they run their heroes.
I'm not quite familiar with the SA Dota scene myself, so I'm not sure who plays what position. But I think I've mentioned it to you a couple times before, where people are starting to their position 1s and 2s are kind of flexible, so they switch people up going from mid lane to bottom or mid lane to safe lane, just so they can throw the enemy team off a little bit with who is going where, because you can assume what hero is going into what lane or in the past, and a lot of the time these days, just from people. Okay, let's say there's Dendi on your team, and Dendi is on a Quap, and there's also it's another flexible hero. Is a Quap, and there's a Puck. Let's say, not necessarily those two heroes going to be in the same game, but you see Dendi on the Quap, you say, okay, it's going to be the Quap mid, so we'll put something up against the Quap that does fairly well. But then the team is trained to be flexible in the lanes. Dendi is bottom lane instead, and suddenly you're at an inferior matchup in the mid lane against a Puck instead.
Yep.
That's something that I believe is pretty key to competitive Dota in these days, and some teams have started doing. So, unfortunately, I don't know any of the players on these two teams well enough to know if they start doing that or what roles they play to begin with. Didn't have enough time to do that much research before the game, other than Sacred has been doing fairly well lately, as far as I can tell. A lot of their
They've been
games.
winning quite a few games, yeah, that's true. From what I've seen as well, they played a lot in the streets. I believe that qualifiers for that as well, or they have a bit of a weird system because they have this People's Choice qualifier, and all the teams have to just get their Twitter followers and Facebook followers and whatnot to just vote for them, and then the top 8 or whatever, top 8 teams then get to play a qualifier. It's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, they played that, they played JDL, won some WCA games like 2 weeks ago. Seems all contained in the SA region though, and there we go, finally ready. Deal style, he's the one who's unpausing. The CY. CY from Elite Wolves. Finally gives the go ahead. Looks like we'll have a game, Neff. Yay.
We will get to cast some Dota after all. Rejoice.
Hooray.
Still in the finished loading screen for me. It's not stuck for you, is it? We still have a couple more seconds before the game actually loads in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brewmaster has just picked a hero, so there we go. Okay guys, game number 1 of the best of 3 here. Very first one in the SA portion of the Summit 8 qualifiers. My name is Dragon Job, I'm joined by Nev.
It's always a pleasure.
Sacred, some SA All-Stars here on this team. Gonna start on the Radiant side. Matthew starting to roll around on his ES, your spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting seeing that we no longer have town portals. Goes okay, he doubles back for a moment. Okay, another pause. Oh boy.
Yay! I'm about to alt chat. I don't alt chat at all, but I'm about to start because I'm getting annoyed.
It looks like Sacred has pretty much had it at this point too.
Yeah.
Gives me a minute to talk about what I wanted to say though. Since teleport scrolls are now on cooldown, we see him trying to leave the base as quickly as possible with his role to beat other teams out. I wonder if we're going to start seeing heroes with like higher base movement speed playing support, just so people can get the advantage at the start of the game as far as ward placement and whatnot goes. That'd be a little bit interesting to see.
Oh, movement speed, he definitely doesn't have the advantage, sitting at 290 there. Dragonot starting with 299 because he's agility, and you gain movement speed. Agility now, apparently. Thanks, Volvo. And a bit of an invasion coming through here. Elite Wolves coming in here, but Soko in a decent position here to just duck it down towards the tower, and by also scouting this out, but he does get arrowed here. Max or follow-up, you don't want to scale the frost blast here on Lich, especially if your target can just fly over the trees anyway. Soko gonna dish out some damage of his own.
Yep.
Might have to give up this rune here unless he still want to take a fight, but it seems unlikely here against the entire dire side lineup.
Yeah, it's not a neighborhood you want to enter right now, and we get a third pause for this
right
game.
now? This time it's Sacred. Alright.
This time from Sacred, he got, come on, cut them a little bit of slack. Earth Spirit disconnecting. He might have Wyvern. Might get caught out if they throw out an arrow at the right angle here, and this Arctic Burn is on cooldown. It was interesting seeing him get the right click off on 3 different heroes, though, forcing 3 tango usages out from the enemy team here.
Thank you for
Efficient.
spamming, Ben Haas. Exactly what I want.
Alright, and it looks like we're ready to go. But very efficient blue usage from the Winter Wyvern, trading not even that much blue for a lot of green on the enemy team. So
All the colors, man. Unless you are in colorblind mode, then it's different kind of blues. I don't know, but it's been actually doing quite a bit of damage here. Spin to win. Does Ben Haas. Lit up and farm, he says, after just getting the first blood, after fighting instead of farming. But hey, it is what it is. Brewmaster kind of body blocked on all sides, no way out of this one. So, good start here for Sacred after all, especially since they get 3 of the bounty runes on top of that first blood. Didn't think they'd be able to fight this actually.
Well, they took the fight when everybody started to have to split up to go take their lanes, but again, it's so hard to initiate onto the... Oh, it looks like another one coming out, but the roll just misses.
Ah, there it is though. Still being slowed down with a lot of venom, another spin, another right click. One more is needed and they get it. That is...
There it is.
Not a good start. Brewmaster just going for the Thunderclap first. Neither has the Drunken Brawler or the Drunken Haste even to prevent some of these right clicks. So, that plus a spin damage. Well, a disaster start to this offlane.
And fourth pause coming out. This is where I laugh very nervously about the state of the game. With legs now coming out from the side of the Radiant as they apologize for their next pause and say, okay, let's continue, boys.
Well, just making sure that everything's in order. In mid, very important position to have that in. How do you see this mid matchup go here with the Lena?
Lena definitely wins this lane. Again, already 2 denies ahead of the Mirana. Mirana just doesn't do enough damage in the early game. The leap...
King Tekai here is actually in a lot of trouble. Will skewer someone back, but only trying to create some extra space. Well, we're caught with the stancing and half health, but what the hell? This is just silly.
Again, this is what I was talking about at the start of the game. That Brewmaster has to make a choice between getting zoned out to the point that he's not getting anything, or getting killed by this Winter Wyvern Earth Spirit Juggernaut combo. It's just so powerful. You're too slow to move, and each time he wants to TP back into the lane, so he doesn't have a TP to get out after they initiate on him.
And right now, it's kind of the worst of both worlds, isn't it? It's still level 1. It's gonna get his level 2 now. Screeper finally pushes on a tower. And now it's actually out of mana for another Blade Fury. Well, meanwhile, mid Matthew with the Invasoon actually connecting onto CY. One of the lead charges is enough this time, though, to keep him safe. Meanwhile, top, a bit of a wraparound happening once again onto King Tekka. Doom with the stomp here from the center. Follow-up stun here from Autumn. Still skewer available, doesn't quite get them under the tower, even if it did. Oh wow, it's actually super fast though with the boots and turn things around, but his stealth has been cancelled, I believe, by one last swipe from a Tun. We'll have to walk all the way back to base, but hey, base created.
Space created. Every death is space. Every time you avoid death is even more space.
A lot of mana being used here, a lot of blue. Hasn't been traded enough for enough green in this sense. I don't know, man. You're better at these kind of things than I am.
It's growing on you, though. Admit it.
I'm afraid to admit it, but yeah, I have to.
Anyway, very good play out of Magnus popping that salve just before that last Lich auto attack got off on him and manages to make it out over there. Doom with the smoke wanting to rotate onto this Lina here. He's got a War Stomp, so he might actually be able to find this kill. He manages to get close. Lina, the auto attacking him down.
DY has actually taken that fight up against Leo style. Both of them super low. Now the south coming through will be cancelled by a leap forward. But a turnaround play from Matthew with a roll onto the Doom. Just in the right place at the perfect time here on the Surf Spirit. Turning this around for 2 kills instead of just 1.
Very impressive play. They got a little bit too desperate for that kill on the Lina. Again, Lina obviously a superior mid hero here, so Murana wanting to come into the game strong, so they took a pretty big risk going for that Lina and Earth Spirit with the perfect rotation, like you said.
Exactly what you want from your Earth Spirit, just being part of all the kills essentially. 1, 0, and 4, 100% kill to participation. Not even 5 minutes into the game, so might see some more here in mid at the same time up top. Winter Wyvern actually made the rotation. They realized, hey, alright, Brewmaster is level 4 now, it's getting a bit harder to kill, so let's try and show up our other lanes a little bit.
Brewmaster actually sitting on 2 skill points right now. He's got one in Drunken Haze and one in Thunderclap, and he's just got 2 sitting there. Interesting. Oh, he's saving the Drunken Brawler for the first proc auto attack off on the Juggernaut. Interesting use of mechanics there.
Oh,
He meant
wow.
to kill mid.
Quite impressive actually. We were talking about how resilient that ISAT lineup is supposed to be against this kind of aggression. But Murana couldn't even get the leaps off, apparently, here with the stuns and silencers from the Earth Spirit, and I assume Leo style throwing out throwing down the light strike away. Meanwhile down bottom, DP out this time from Brewmaster will be successful. Through the spin even.
Thankfully that time he had it off cooldown because he wasn't needing to constantly do the walk of, or the
Yeah.
sorry, dying,
Walk of
TPing
shame.
and dying again.
Yeah.
There was no walk of shame. He is a little bit spaced out between his death.
Boots TP on cooldown. Walk down the lane.
Very sad
Always feels
panda.
bad, yeah. Always makes me want to watch a Dota 2 again. Okay, Doom actually got himself the Hurl Boulder, so he cancelled TP on the Magnus. King Tekka also forced to make a bit of a walk back home to base. So just wants to use the shrine, and yeah, that's exactly the choice instead. Meanwhile, on bottom again. This time the spin will be another victory. Ben Haas and Dominic is free already. Both those kills are all his.
Yep, and we've got a catapult wave coming in, so this tower is probably going to drop down to at least half
Dire's bottom
HP.
tower is under attack.
he doesn't manage to take it anyway. We're probably going to see a rotation come down there. Brewmaster's TP is on cooldown as well, so this time he does have to do the Walk of Shame.
Gonna need more than Brewmaster though if you want to try and defend this. Healing Ward also keeping the creeps alive for much longer. And House can commit for this if he wants to.
Yeah, it looks like they're also setting up for a kill in the mid lane. Earth Spear waiting behind the trees, and he's just about to go. The rock is down.
So Leo Star just pops the ultimate. He needs a little bit of extra damage here with the roll across. The last right click actually chasing him down. But Leo Star had to commit deep for that. Meanwhile, the wrap around from C and Shizit. The little turnaround play though at the same time from Sacred as Masoku coming through with the heals. Now the turnaround. Half damage done through Doom here. Well, Leo Star is home and host. Able to make it to the own shrine down in the bottom lane. All healed up together.
Can we talk about those leaps real quick? The Mirana not actually managing to get away from that. Used both her leap charges. She's at 0 now, so it's going to take a full, what, 3 minutes for her to get all those back? I feel like that's disastrous if you use your leaps without actually getting them off.
Now this Cure here was bringing his friends with him. Or at least this lane is sort of working out for the Elite Wolves. But yeah, mid lane is not really going well. Bottom lane is again just barely surviving because of the spin. Through the spin, I should say. Both Spirit with his spells still on cooldown.
Looks like Brewmaster's really learned his lesson though. I'm sure he's not going to come down to the lane without his TP off of cooldown. He doesn't want to die to that Earth Spirit Juggernaut anymore. He's given him enough kills in farm. Speaking of farm, Fen like almost managing to keep up with this Juggernaut, having more CS than him, even though the Juggernaut does have a dominating streak. So the 3k net worth are down to 2k net worth advantage for Sacred, but Elite Wolves not out of it yet. They're still very strong in the early game. This Fen is going to be a huge threat. You're going to need 4 staffs to come out on the side of Sacred.
Kind of lacking the kind of stacks that Sacred actually have been able to get themselves. Because if you look here at Sacred Ancients, Leo style, going to try and stack them up again. Don't think that's even possible anymore. Like a quad pentastack, isn't it? 2 sets of dragons, 1 Thunderhide, 1 Golem, and one of these Prowlers. That's a 5 stack of Ancients here, and once the power gets leveled up a little bit more, Juggernaut will be able to pick that up easily.
Or Sven.
Oh, Sven, yeah. Fine, he finds those. The other one's also being pinged out. Also triple stack in its own right, so there's some huge resources here for Sacred. They can't fall back on, but Sven might also want to get them himself if he possibly can, but he will need the help from the rest of his team. And Brewmaster, level 6 right now, maybe they can even take a fight all the steps.
Alright. Looks like, yeah, Sven just starting to farm the Ancients himself. I'm really looking forward to the enemy team finding a fight against... I'm really looking forward to E-Wolves, rather, fighting a fight against Sacred in one of these Ancient stacks, and a huge game turnaround fight happening at them. But that's just me with my desire to see people dead in Dota.
Having a hard time hiding it more often than not. So for now, Sven is farming his own jungle camps. Make some stacks of his own as his supports. Have not spent a lot of time doing it for him. Yeah, how much does this favor Sacred here, if at all? This kind of slow pace of game. Matthew is kind of the only one who's trying to make things happen right now.
Yeah, slow pace the game. I'd say that it actually favors E-Wolves a little bit more. They're, I think, going to win the late game. You always have an opportunity to take a fight against the enemy team when you have a Magnus. A strong RP can take down almost anybody, but high armor in the form of both Warcry and Frost armor, and the late game power of Sven definitely gives them, or definitely gives E-Wolves here the advantage in the late game. And again, you've seen the domination that both Winter Wyvern and Earth Spirit have been trying to do. This is what like their strongest point in the game. They really excel at finding pickoffs and doing damage in the early game and having rotations, so they need to constantly press their advantage if they want to win this game. I think they know that they only have so much time, and again, they've probably gonna go for a smoke gank here after they clear this Ancient stack.
Masoku. It almost does it, but I love the way they're farming this actually. Because Masoku, tanking it a little bit with Cold Embrace. This time though with the root forcing out that spin, it's a little bit of a harder time for Juggernaut to actually farm it up, as he did with the other camp.
An attempt was made.
Yeah, he ran out of power, so the main issue I think.
Radiant's top
Yeah.
tower
So smoke comes out after all, as you said. Leo Star still on cover of it, but they're not actually... Maybe I spoke too soon here. The Silence comes out mid-roll, followed with a stun here. They need the Light Strike array, but Leo Star can only get in range. Dragon Slave in time, but it looks like it's why will live to fight another day.
That roll was just a little bit off point. In that situation, the Earth Spirit rolls in, needs to get the silence off as he goes in before the Mirana can react to it at all. Slowed under the effect of roll, and then you stun afterwards for maximum time, just being stuck there and disabled. So without that happening, the kill wasn't going to happen. But Moonlight Shadow coming out, and we see people starting to invade. The Juggernaut might die here.
I did see the Moonlight Shadow being triggered, so they should realize something's going on as we have another pause coming through. Also, I just noticed our Mirana player is called CY or something, but the Lich player is called Wu CI. CY, which is not confusing at all.
Interesting.
Not sure if what that's about.
I was playing some in some qualifiers with another guy named Neff. Can you imagine what that was like for my teammates?
One Neff is hard enough to handle. Can't imagine
Yeah.
two Neffs on the same team. Oh god.
And we were both playing support as well, so every time somebody would ask Neff for a rotation, it became very, very difficult.
Oh, yeah.
And we see more quick chat coming out. Thankfully, they don't have the chat wheel anymore, and I swear to God, I'm glad that that button of yours malfunctioned when we were in
Yeah,
Hamburg.
I'm so mad actually still. It does the one. Wait, it works again. What?
Okay, I'm not okay with that.
I didn't even do anything to it.
You need to stop hitting that thing, dude.
That's still kinda broken if I press it in the wrong place. Works again. Wow, I'm so happy now. Okay, never mind. Was
You
gonna
have
be
that
mad.
sitting beside you even though it's broken?
Sure.
You're sick.
Kinda half broken. It was just sitting there in the corner of my desk. Like so many other doodads that I have. That I nervously play with sometimes.
Doodad. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Like
Drag and drop doodads. But we still see the game paused. I'm interested in seeing how this situation is going to turn out. You Wolves have 2 minutes of pause time left. Interesting. I've never actually seen a team use their full pause time before. Have you?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You have?
I have. Has been a while though.
Alright. Normally it's just over one pause, though. It's not over like 8 different pauses.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
Sometimes it's just like I don't know. There's some different reasons. Like I've had a player just recently, actually, I believe it was CS or something, or it might have been SEA, where it's like, all right, we have a blackout, so energy is not working, so the guy just ran to a bit of a team fight here, perhaps. As I don't consider, but just gets pushed away. But yeah, Power in his house went out, so he just ran out to a LAN cafe to continue playing. That was pretty sick. And it obviously took a few minutes to actually get going.
Dire's middle tower.
That's true passion for the game. True commitment for doing anything it takes to make it.
Oh, that's the Winter's Curse. Just a setup for the follow-up here. The Sun's coming through to just blow up the Mirana. It's one way to do it. Now 1995 with the Blue Split here, looking for the Earth Spread. Matthew should fall here, and he will indeed. And Soko also being slowed down with a literal ultimate bouncing through, so he'll be second in casualty eventually, despite the Cold Embrace coming through. The Well Plate comes out from the Mirana. He looked onto that, so... Base creation play there. 2 heroes for 1.
Radiant's top tower is
Yep.
Power's still standing though, so I'm not sure that Sacred can really be happy with that.
No, I imagine they're not. And at the same time, Sven managed to get the chip damage off on the tier 1 top E-Wolves, both coming out about 500 gold and 300 EXP advantage over Sacred there. So that's exactly the kind of thing that I want right now. Sacred again, I think starting to realize how much they have to commit for some of these plays and to push down these towers, and they made a little bit of a slip up there.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
We'll get the the tower in the end, despite the frost arm and everything. There's renewed commitment, but hey, speaking of commitment, there is a stun with the follow from Doom. Matthew still gets a few spells off here, and double Light Strike array, the RP onto as well, into the Omni Slash. A couple of ultimates being used here to punish them like that, and damn. That, on the other hand, is something, is a trait that Sacred can be extremely happy with, getting the Sven as well as a Doom like that.
Time the change was 1,000 XP in favor of Sacred and 500 gold.
Oh, another free
Can't go
tower
wrong.
for that too.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Fortify coming out here though.
Oh, they'll chip through it eventually. People's not really in a position to trade for anything. I mean, all the tier 1s on the Radiant side still very healthy indeed. Couple health points missing across all of them. I guess top lane is fairly low.
I mean, when your Sven dies, take a look at this net worth chart right now, if you don't mind. That Mirana, actually even behind the Brewmaster, who died time and time again in the laning phase. So I imagine she's not having a good time at all.
0-4-0, 71 last hits. The 0-4 and 2s from the Brewmaster. It's so odd how Brewmaster somehow find their way back sometimes. You can crush them in the early game, but then they still come back with crazy amounts of levels. But that was a good blink skewer into the Kuno Blade. Sacred are really forcing the issue here. Just, oh, the arrow will actually connect. This could turn into something here under the Moonlight Shadow. They're coming through. A stun from Matthew though.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Was dusted up, so nothing else will happen to Masoku.
Radiant's bottom tower.
He's stuck on some sort of high ground here?
Yeah,
I think he flew up to the high ground, alright. I
They
didn't
changed
even...
that to high ground, the most recent patch.
Yeah.
You can barely even see that.
Yeah. I didn't know that at all. That's just a tiny
He's
bit of high ground.
stranded.
No TP scroll, 15 seconds until the Arctic burn, but... I don't think they realize that he's still there.
He's no friends around, he's in enemy territory. This is not going to do well for him. I did not realize that high ground.
You can start the courier.
Can he? Huh?
Going back for it. One,
Do it.
and meanwhile the RP, maybe a little bit more
Okay.
important on 3 heroes! Enter the Omni Slash, bouncing through between 2 heroes. As Mirana leaps away, but another double kill for Ben House. And this is shaping up to be a rather quick game. Sacred are not wasting any time whatsoever.
That Sven actually used God's strength to try and kill Winter Wyvern during that too. If they decide to push high ground here, the Sven's not going to have God's strength.
Another blink skewer attempt here. There's Brewmaster with blink. Was the problem of split though, so that's something that you technically have to watch out for. But I'm not sure how much Sacred really subscribe to that at this point. Because they gotta feel super powerful, especially Ben has. I think a 12k net worth, he has the Mantis Star. He almost has a freaking Skadi completed at 1,000 gold.
Here
Gonna
he
hit
goes farming the
320.
next stack.
Yeah, with all these stacks, it's gonna hit pre-20 minutes. Freaking scary, dude.
The richest juggernaut there ever was. Look at him. He's even got a golden kitty.
Oh wow, what a god.
His ward is made out of money, that's how rich he is.
Well, a couple of heroes walking down in this general area. There's a Doom, there's a Sven with God Strength. He's sticking around, he might actually be in trouble, and there is Blink, Stun, Doom. They have to drop everything, including the kitchen sink on him. That's exactly what they're doing, and they will get that kill. A big old kill streak. From the way for Toner. Now Sven down to catch up, still 3k behind Juggernaut, even with that kill.
Yeah. They very much needed that, though. Anything to help them get a handle back in this game. Almost all the outside towers are damaged. Top tier 3 are taking pretty significant damage. And Mirana, again, behind this Brewmaster as far as net worth goes. And we're talking about last patch, mid was pretty much position 1. Although they changed the creep waves back so you have a normal amount as the rest of the lanes, it still feels like position 1 is one of the mid lane is one of the more farmy positions. Be behind the off laner who died that many times.
Yeah.
You're not having a good time. And your team isn't going to be having a good time either if your mid is that far behind.
He's taking some time now to catch up, but he's still needs a while until he really gets where he wants to be. And the Matsum will help once he has it finished, but again. And has whoa. Look at that damage! He almost 3-shot that guy, and those without crits, so he...
No, that was double crit.
Oh, double crit? Okay, yeah. I don't actually see the right number. Too mesmerized by the missing health points, but yeah. Lich TPing out, so just go straight towards the road pit. This is falling very quickly as well. They have some sort of minus armor on somebody.
Yeah. With the Scotty just finished on your Juggernaut, you just finished your Bloodstone and Kaya on your Lina.
CY, RP, alright. They're not messing around.
And goodbye.
I didn't get a second leap off here with this much burst damage. That's a counter right there. Just
That's the counter to the triple leap. You kill it.
Yeah, it's
the hard counter.
To be fair, that's a counter to everything, but
Hashtag expert analysis.
pretty much. Buyback has to come out 20 minutes in, not all that expensive. Moonlight Shadow try and give them... Oh, the wraparound actually onto the Earth Spirit, but now don't want to wipe and counterplay. Coming through immediately, the arrow will fly through, actually connects onto the Earth Spirit. Now the Lich ultimate bouncing back a little bit. Matthew still dropping low, Starfall not enough to finish him off. Now another double stun actually coming through, a ton. Ben has, he's turning things around now finally after the deny from Leo style. With the Bloodstone coming right back into the fight though. Still needs to walk in a little bit further. Ben has returning from the Aegis, now starts directly when Brewmaster actually does get the problem split off, hasn't been used thus far, so Matthew in trouble again, trying to roll out and will be successful. Apparently these Broodlings do not actually block that, so now the Doom comes through, Spin was already going. Now to lift up the stand-up Lina, maybe a bit of miscommunication there, but now Juggernaut still doomed up a ton, and we'll see they're actually trying to hunt him down, and might be able to eventually, unless Leo style can turn things around. He gets stunned up on next to an illusion, gets some light stroke away off though, onto the big old Sven as his God Strength ends. Unstoppable, this arrow will also connect. This is so silly. This entire team fight doesn't really happen that way in any other region I've casted, I can tell you that much.
I've been told time and time again that the SA region is wild.
Oh yeah.
And that's
be right down your alley, man. But yeah, it's exactly what we're seeing here. A valiant effort, but Sven now on the silence for another 20 seconds, and then Blink Skewer attempted. No Primal Split, no Moonlight Shadow, no nothing. They've used all their ultimates. Sacred will be very, very happy to just snag another free kill. This time they dodge the arrow and they also snag the racks.
And
also
GG
very
actually comes out of the first racks.
Yeah. Well, gotta keep on schedule somehow with all these pauses, right?
Yeah,
right?
I'm not gonna argue with that. I'd still rather have a 60-minute game rather than a 20-minute game with 40 minutes of pausing. But
yeah. Game client is out of date. Okay. The next game will not start until like 2 hours when everyone's patched. But for now, any opinions on this game?
Extremely well played by Sacred. I really like the play out of Matthew on his Earth Spirit. Feels like everywhere exactly when he needed to be. The amount of pickoffs that he got on Elite Wolves made the game very hard for both the mid laner and their Brewmaster in the bottom lane. Got Juggernaut very, very far ahead. Again, he was the richest Juggernaut in the world. And they played their lineup pretty much exactly how they had to. Elite Wolves tried to pick tanky heroes, make themselves hard to kill, but it wasn't quite enough. It just didn't see how the next game in the series goes.
We'll find out soon here after we get everyone patched and back into the lobby. For now, we'll take a short break. Moment.